The turkey was perfect. Golden brown, sitting in the center of Mom's antique dining table, surrounded by dishes I'd spent 3 days helping prepare. Not that anyone noticed. "Emily, pass the cranberry sauce," my sister, Jessica said, not looking up from her phone. I passed it. "Could you also grab the gravy from the kitchen?" Mom added. "And check on the rolls." I stood up from my untouched plate and went to the kitchen. Retrieved the gravy boat. Checked the rolls. Brought both back to find my seat had been taken by Jessica's boyfriend, Trevor. "Oh, sorry," Trevor said, not moving. "Is this your spot?" "It's fine," I said quietly. "I'll grab a chair from the den." "Actually, Mom said, since you're up, could you start refilling water glasses? I think everyone's running low." I looked around the table. 12 people, aunts, uncles, cousins, Jessica, Trevor, Mom, and Dad. All with nearly full water glasses. But I picked up the pitcher anyway. "Thanks, sweetie," Mom said absently, already turning back to Aunt Carol's story about her cruise. I refilled glasses that didn't need refilling, then retrieved a folding chair from the den and squeezed in at the corner of the table next to the credenza. Jessica laughed at something, Trevor whispered. Her nails were freshly done long acrylics with intricate designs. Her hair was professionally styled. She wore a designer sweater I recognized from Nordstrom's website. $340. I knew because I'd been making the monthly payments on the credit card she'd used to buy it. "So, Jessica," Aunt Carol said brightly, "your mother tells me you just got promoted." Jessica smiled, modest, but pleased. "Senior marketing coordinator. It's really exciting. More responsibility, better title." "That's wonderful. You always were so ambitious." "Someone in this family has to be," Jessica said, laughing. A few people chuckled. Dad carved the turkey with ceremonial precision. "That's my girl, always climbing the ladder." "Must be nice to have such a high achiever in the family," Uncle Paul said. "Not everyone's so driven these days." His eyes flicked to me, just for a second. I focused on my plate. "Emily works hard too," Mom said, but her tone was defensive rather than proud. Like she was making excuses. "She's very ... steady." "Reliable? What is it you do again, Emily?" Aunt Carol asked. "Something with computers? Data analysis for a healthcare company," I said quietly. "I work remotely." "Ah," Aunt Carol said, in that tone that meant how nice for you, but really meant how unimpressive. "Remote work!" Uncle Paul said, shaking his head. "Must be nice not having to get dressed or commute, basically getting paid to sit at home in your pajamas." "I work normal hours," I said, "just from home instead of an office." "Still," he continued, "not quite the same as being in a professional environment every day. Building those relationships, networking, climbing the corporate ladder like Jessica." Jessica preened slightly. I said nothing, because what was the point of explaining that I made $127,000 a year, that I'd been promoted twice in 3 years, that I'd been headhunted by 2 major tech companies in the last 6 months. They didn't want to know. They wanted me to be the steady, reliable, unambitious one. The supporting character in Jessica's story. "How's the job search going, Emily?" Dad asked, passing a plate of turkey. "Still looking for something full-time, Dad?" "I have a full-time job." Right. I just meant something more, ... traditional. Where you go to an actual office." "I like working from home." "Of course you do," Jessica said, spearing a piece of turkey. "Less pressure, no performance reviews, no competition. It's perfect for your personality." "I have performance reviews. But it's different," she insisted. "When you're remote, you're not really part of the team. You're just ... there. On a screen somewhere." Trevor nodded sagely, like Jessica had said something profound. "Well," Mom said, clearly wanting to change the subject, "the important thing is that both my girls are employed and doing well." "Really well in Jessica's case," Aunt Carol added. "Senior coordinator at 26. That's remarkable." 27, Jessica corrected. Birthday was last month. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought. It's fine, Jessica said magnanimously. Easy mistake. I'd bought her birthday gift. A $200 leather journal she'd mentioned wanting. She'd texted TX without punctuation. I hadn't gotten a birthday gift from her in 4 years. My birthday was in July. I was 29 now. So, Jessica, Uncle Paul said, with this promotion, you must be making good money now. Thinking about buying a place? Jessica's smile flickered. Who's slightly? Eventually. Eventually? The market's tough right now. I'm being strategic about timing. What she didn't say, she was $52,847 in credit card debt across 5 cards. 3 were maxed out. 2 were in collections until I'd called and set up payment plans. She also didn't mention the car payment I'd been covering for 8 months. Or the student loan payment ID made last week when she'd forgotten and it was about to default. Smart, Dad said approvingly. No point rushing into a mortgage. You're young. Enjoy your flexibility. Exactly, Jessica said. Plus, I'm focused on my career right now, building my professional reputation. Making connections, a house can wait. That's very mature, Aunt Carol said. I ate my mashed potatoes in silence. Dessert came out around 7 p.m. I'd made the pumpkin pie from scratched Grandma's recipe, the one that took 3 days, because you had to roast your own pumpkin puree. Mom brought it out with a flourish. Emily's famous pumpkin pie. She worked so hard on this. It looks amazing, Cousin Rachel said. Thanks, I murmured. Jessica cut herself a large slice. God, you really went all out. Don't you have anything better to do than spend 3 days on a pie? I like baking. Still, 3 days, that's a bit much, don't you think? It's Grandma's recipe. I know, but Grandma also had leg. Nothing else going on in her life. You're almost 30. Shouldn't you have hobbies that are more, I don't know, social? Productive. Baking is productive. You know what I mean? Jessica took a bite. Okay, it is really good though. Maybe you missed your calling. Could have been a baker instead of whatever it is you do on your computer all day. The table laughed. I set down my fork. Actually, Jessica continued, emboldened by her audience, that's kind of been the problem your whole life, hasn't it? You're so focused on these little tasks, baking, organizing, helping Mom with random stuff, but you never really contribute to the family in meaningful ways. The room got quieter. Jessica, Mom said uncertainly. No, I'm serious, Jessica said. I love you, but you're almost 30 and you still act like a teenager. Living at home, I have my own apartment, I said quietly. Barely participating in family events, unless you're doing some task. I helped cook this entire meal. And you never offered to help anyone with real problems. Like, when I was stressed about my promotion, did you offer advice? Networking connections? Anything? No. You just exist. On the periphery. Like a double quotes, she paused, searching for the word. Like a parasite, Trevor supplied. Jessica laughed. I wasn't going to say that, but honestly, kind of. You take up space and resources, but you don't really contribute anything significant. The silence was absolute. That's harsh, Jess, Cousin Rachel said uncomfortably. It's honest, Jessica said. Em's always been like this, the quiet one. The one who doesn't rock the boat, never taking risks, never putting herself out there, never helping anyone but herself. Never helping anyone, I repeated slowly. Right. I mean, when's the last time you did something for someone else? Something that actually mattered? I looked at her. Really looked at her. At her $340 sweater, her professionally done hair, her manicured nails, her designer purse sitting on the chair behind her. All of it paid for with credit cards I'd been covering for 2 years and 3 months. I pulled out my phone. What are you doing? Jessica asked. I didn't answer. Just opened my banking app and navigated to my scheduled payments section. Found the first one, Jessica Taylor Capital One, $847 month. Clicked cancel. Confirmation message. Payment scheduled for 11/28 has been canceled. Emily? Mom said. What's going on? I found the second payment. Jessica Taylor, Chase Sapir, $1,240 month. Clicked cancel. Seriously, what are you doing? Jessica's voice had an edge. Now. Third payment. Jessica Taylor, American Express, $920 por Metro ont cancel. Fourth payment. Jessica Taylor, Discover, $385 month. Cancel. Fifth payment. Jessica Taylor, Citi Card, $650 month. Cancel. I set my phone on the table, face down. There, I said quietly. Now, I'm helping myself instead of you. Jessica's face went through several expressions: confusion, irritation, then something like concern. What are you talking about? Your credit cards, I said. All 5 of them. I just canceled the automatic payments I've been making for the past 2 years and 3 months. The room was silent. What? Jessica's voice was small. I picked up my phone and pulled up my spreadsheet, the one I kept meticulously updated. Turned the screen toward her. Would you like to see the breakdown? Capital One, $18,447 paid over 27 months. Chase Sapir, $20,150 over 23 months. American Express, $8,280 over 9 months. Discover, $3,850 over 10 months. Citi Card, $2,120 over 4 months. Jessica stared at the screen. Totalan $52,847. Primera continued. That's what Ivy paid toward your credit card debt while you called me a parasite who never helps anyone. You, ... Jessica's mouth opened and closed. That's not. I didn't ask you to March 2022. Primera Said calmly. You called me, crying. Said you'd maxed out your cards and was getting collection calls. Said you were going to have to declare bankruptcy and ruin your credit forever. I offered to help temporarily until you got back on your feet. Temporarily, Jessica whispered. Temporarily. That was 27 months ago. Dad had gone pale. Emily, is this true? Every payment is documented. Bank statements, confirmation numbers, dates, amounts. I have records of everything. Why didn't you tell us? Mom asked. Jessica asked me not to. Said she was embarrassed. Said she'd pay me back once she got her finances in order. I looked at Jessica. How's that going? By the way, your finances in order yet? Jessica's face had gone from pale to red. I was going to pay you back. I just needed more time. More time. You just got a promotion. With a raise, and you bought a $340 sweater last week. How do you know what my sweater cost? Because I paid the credit card bill. Like I've been paying all your credit card bills for over 2 years. Trevor was staring at Jessica like he'd never seen her before. And the car payment, I continued quietly. 8 months of $560 each. That's another $4,480. Should I add that to the total? I can explain. And the student loan payment I made last week, $1,200 to prevent default. Should that go on the list too? Jessica's eyes were filling with tears. You're making me sound terrible. I'm stating facts. You called me a parasite who never helps anyone. I'm clarifying that I've given you $58,527 over the past 2 years. That's not counting the smaller amounts: gas money, grocery money, emergency loans that were never paid back. Jesus Christ, Uncle Paul muttered. Aunt Carol was staring at Jessica with her mouth open. I was going to pay you back, Jessica said, her voice breaking. I swear, I just needed more time. I know. Except you never intended to pay me back, did you? You just got used to me covering everything while you spent money on designer clothes and professional blowouts and weekend trips with Trevor. Trevor shifted uncomfortably. That's not fair, Jessica said. I have expenses, so do I. The difference is I pay mine. You make more money than me. Do I asked. You've never asked what I make. You assumed I make less because I work from home. Because I'm quiet. Because I'm the supporting character in your life story. Dad found his voice. Emily, why didn't you tell us Jessica was in trouble? We could have helped, you couldn't have, I said simply. You're retired on a fixed income. Jessica didn't want to worry you, so I helped instead. Quietly. The way I do everything. But $58,000? Mom whispered. That's, Emily. That's your savings. It was. Now it's Jessica's lifestyle. Jessica was crying now. Mascara running. I didn't know you were keeping track like this. I thought you were just ... helping. Because we're family. We are family, I said, which is why I helped. But family goes both ways. Jessica, family doesn't call each other parasites at Thanksgiving dinner in front of 12 people. Family doesn't mock each other's careers or hobbies or contributions. I didn't mean you did mean it. You've always meant it. I'm the boring one. The unambitious one. The one who does tasks instead of achieving things. Except I've been achieving plenty. I just did it quietly while funding your life. My phone buzzed on the table. Jessica's phone buzzed a second later. She picked it up, looked at the screen, and went white. Collection agency? I said. That would be Capital One. The payment was due 2 days ago. I've been covering it. Now I'm not. Her phone buzzed again, and that's probably Chase. Jessica stared at her phone like it was a snake. The calls will continue, I said conversationally, because all 5 cards are either maxed out or near their limits, and without my payments, you're now past due on all of them. You'll start getting daily calls within 48 hours, weekly calls after that, then letters, then potentially lawsuits. Emily, Jessica whispered, please. I'm sorry. I didn't mean what I said. I didn't mean. Yes, you did. You've been saying it in different ways for years. This is just the first time you said it clearly enough that I could unpretend not to hear. Trevor stood up. I think I should go. Sit down, Jessica snapped. This is blackmail. It's not blackmail. It's consequences. I'm not threatening you. I'm simply stopping my payments on your debt. Your debt that you accumulated. Your responsibility? But I can't afford, then you'll need to make changes. Budget differently, cut expenses, get a second job. The things people do when they have $52,847 in credit card debt. Dad was reading something on his phone. The Capital One card alone has a balance of $23,400. Jessica didn't answer. Jessica, Mom said, her voice strained. How did you accumulate that much debt? I don't know. Things just ... add up. $340 sweaters add up, I said quietly. Weekend trips add up. Daily Starbucks adds up. Designer purses add up. Professional blowouts twice a week add up. You're making it sound so frivolous, isn't it? She didn't have an answer. Cousin Rachel broke the silence. So, ... should I come back for the pie? Or ... I'm done, I said, standing up. Thank you for dinner, Mom. The turkey was perfect. Emily, wait. Mom stood too. We need to talk about this. There's nothing to talk about. Jessica has debt. It's her responsibility. I'm no longer covering it. That's all. But we're family, Mom said helplessly. We are. Which is why I helped for 2 years. But family isn't a one-way street. And I'm tired of being the road everyone drives on without noticing. I grabbed my coat from the hall closet. Jessica followed me, Trevor trailing behind her. Please. I'm sorry I called you a parasite. I'm sorry I said those things. I'll apologize to everyone. I don't want an apology. Then what do you want? I looked at her. Really, looked at her. My sister, who I'd helped for years, who'd never once said thank you. I want you to grow up, I said quietly. I want you to handle your own problems. I want you to stop expecting me to be invisible unless you need something. And I want you to figure out how you're going to pay $4,042 a month in credit card minimums on your salary. I can't pay that. Then call the credit card companies. Set up payment plans. Negotiate settlements. or declare bankruptcy like you were planning to before I bailed you out. Those are your options now. You're really going to do this? Right before the holidays. You really called me a parasite at Thanksgiving dinner. So yes, I'm really going to do this. I opened the front door. I'll never forgive you for this, Jessica said, her voice breaking. I can live with that, I said, and left. I drove home to my apartment, the one-bedroom place I'd been renting for 3 years that no one in my family had ever visited, and sat in my car for 10 minutes before going inside. My phone exploded with texts. Mom, Emily, please call me. We need to discuss this. Dad, this is between you and your sister, but I think you should reconsider. Family is family. Cousin Rachel, holy shit. I had no idea. You okay? Aunt Carol, this is very dramatic behavior. Emily. Very unlike you. Uncle Paul, you can't just abandon family because your feelings got hurt. Jessica, call me. Now. Jessica. This is so fucking typical of you, Jessica. Making everything about you. Jessica, I can't believe you're doing this, Jessica. Mom and Dad are so upset. Jessica. You're ruining Thanksgiving, Jessica. Call me. I turned off my phone and went inside. My apartment was quiet. Clean. Mine. The walls had artwork I'd chosen. The furniture was paid for in full. The kitchen had the expensive mixer I'd saved for. Everything here I'd earned. No debt. No drama. No one calling me a parasite. I made tea and sat on my couch and let myself cry. The next morning, I woke up to 43 missed calls and 87 text messages. I ignored all of them except one from cousin Rachel. Rachel, are you free for coffee? I'd like to hear your side without the whole family theater. I responded. 2 p.m. at Common Grounds. Rachel? See you there. Rachel was already there when I arrived. 2 coffees ordered and waiting. Pumpkin spice latte, extra whip, she said, pushing one toward me. Your favorite? Unless that's changed? Still my favorite. Thanks. We sat in the back corner, away from other customers. So, Rachel said, that was quite a Thanksgiving. I'm sorry you had to witness it. Are you kidding? That was the most interesting family dinner we've had in years. Usually, it's just Aunt Carol bragging about her cruises and Uncle Paul complaining about millennials. I smiled despite myself. But seriously, Rachel continued, I had no idea you'd been helping Jessica like that. $58,000. Emily, that's insane. It was spread over 2 years. It didn't feel like that much at the time. Yes, it did. You're just used to minimizing yourself. She took a sip of her coffee. Can I ask you something? Sure. Why did you help her? Not in a judgy way. I'm genuinely curious. You clearly knew she was taking advantage. I was quiet for a moment. She's my sister. She called me crying. She said she needed help. How do you say no to that? By saying no. I've never been good at that. Not with family. Yeah, I've noticed. You're everyone's backup plan. Need help moving? Call Emily. Need someone to watch your dog? Call Emily. Need $58,000 to fund your lifestyle while you insult them at dinner? Call Emily. It wasn't always like that, wasn't it? Rachel challenged. I've known you your whole life. You've been the family helper since we were kids. Remember when we were 12 and you spent your birthday money buying Uncle Paul a new tool because he's broke? Your birthday money. I'd forgotten that. Or when you were 16 and you used your college savings to help your mom when she lost her job? Your college money that you'd been saving since you were 8. Mom paid me back. After 3 years. And in the meantime, you took out student loans instead of using the money you'd saved. You paid interest for years because you helped her. That's what family does. No, Rachel said firmly. That's what you do. The rest of the family takes. You give. And they've gotten so used to it that they genuinely don't see it anymore. You're not a person to them. You're a resource. That's harsh. It's true. Yesterday proved it. Jessica called you a parasite. Parasite, and multiple people nodded in agreement. Because to them, You're invisible. You're only useful, never valued. I stared into my coffee. I'm proud of you, Rachel said quietly, for standing up for yourself. For cutting her off. I know that took guts. It doesn't feel like guts. It feels cruel. It's not cruel, it's boundaries. There's a difference. She paused. What are you going to do now? What do you mean? The family's going to pressure you. They're going to guilt you. They're going to say you're tearing the family apart, that you're being selfish, that this isn't who you are. Are you going to hold firm? I don't know, I admitted. Part of me wants to apologize and just start making the payments again. It would be easier. Easier for whom? Everyone. Mom's upset. Dad's disappointed. Jessica's furious but also panicking. And you, I'm tired, Rachel. I'm so tired of being the person everyone leans on but no one sees. Then stop being that person, not by helping them, but by helping yourself. I went home and turned my phone back on. The messages had multiplied. But there was one I hadn't expected, from my aunt, Linda, Mom's sister who lived in Seattle. I'd only met her a handful of times. Aunt Linda, Emily, your mother called me upset about yesterday. I had no idea you'd been supporting Jessica. I'm proud of you for stopping. Call me if you need to talk. I've been where you are. Primera, Emily. She sounded genuinely happy to hear from me. Thanks for calling back. Thanks for texting. I wasn't expecting. I thought everyone would be on Jessica's side. Everyone who was at that dinner probably is. They don't understand because they benefit from your giving nature. But I understand. I was you once. What do you mean? I was the family helper. The one who bailed everyone out. Loaned money I never saw again. Covered rent, car payments, credit cards. All while being told I was selfish for living in Seattle instead of staying close to family. What changed? I went bankrupt, she said bluntly, gave so much away that I couldn't cover my own bills. Lost my apartment, had to move back home at 30. That's when I realized that helping people who won't help themselves isn't kindness, it's enabling. How did you stop? I moved to Seattle, put physical distance between me and people who only valued me for my wallet. Started over. Built a life where I wasn't the family ATM. Do you regret it? Never. Best decision I ever made. I have friends here who value me for who I am. I'm financially stable. I'm happy, and I talk to the family members who actually care about me like you, now while maintaining boundaries with everyone else. Mom must have been upset, devastated. Told me I was abandoning the family, said I was selfish. Said I'd regret it. That was 12 years ago. She's apologized since. Slowly started to understand, but it took me leaving for her to realize I wasn't an infinite resource. We talked for another hour. By the time we hung up, I felt lighter. By Saturday, the family pressure campaign was in full swing. Mom, Jessica's credit cards are in default. She's getting calls constantly. Emily, she's your sister. You can't leave her like this. Dad, I'm disappointed in you. This isn't the person we raised. Family helps family, even when it's hard. Jessica, I'm going to lose everything because of you. My credit is destroyed. I can't rent an apartment. I can't buy a car. This is all your fault. Beth, also. Cousin Rachel, holding strong. Aunt Linda, don't you dare give in. They'll eat you alive if you do. And one more, from a number I didn't recognize. Unknown. Hi Emily, this is Trevor, Jessica's boyfriend. Well, ex-boyfriend, now. I wanted to apologize for laughing at the Parasite comment. I didn't know about everything you'd done. For what it's worth, you did the right thing. She needs to face consequences. Good luck. Jessica and Trevor had broken up. I felt a small, petty surge of satisfaction. Sunday morning, Mom called. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Emily, her voice was strained. We need to talk. Okay. In person. Can you come to the house? Is Jessica there? No. She's staying with a friend. It's just me and your father. Fine, I'll be there in an hour. The house looked the same as always. Mom's garden, Dad's perfectly maintained lawn. The front door I'd walked through 1,000 times, but walking through it now felt different. Heavy. Mom and Dad were waiting in the living room. Mom's eyes were red. Dad looked older somehow. Sit down, Dad said. Primera. Sate? We've been talking, Mom started. About what happened at Thanksgiving. About Jessica's debt. About, everything. Okay, we had no idea you'd been helping her financially, Dad said. She never told us. We never asked. She asked me not to tell you, and you honored that, Mom said. For over 2 years, you carried this burden alone because Jessica asked you to. I nodded. That was very loyal of you, Dad said. But also, Emily, why didn't you tell us? Not to betray Jessica's confidence, but to protect yourself. I thought I could handle it. $58,000, Mom whispered. Emily, that's? How did you even have that much money? I work full-time. I make a good salary. I save. How much do you make? Dad asked. $127,000 a year. Both their faces registered shock. You make 6 figures? Mom said. Doing data analysis. Yes. We thought ... Doppel. Quotes. Dad trailed off. You thought I made less because I work from home. Because I'm quiet. Because I'm not Jessica, climbing the corporate ladder and networking. They didn't deny it. Jessica makes $48,000 a year, I said quietly. With her promotion, she'll make $52,000. I've been making more than her since I was 24. Jesus, Dad muttered. Why didn't you tell us? Mom asked. Would it have mattered? You already decided who I was. The steady one, the reliable one, the one who doesn't need attention or praise or recognition. I became what you expected. That's not ... double quotes. Mom started, then stopped. Okay. Maybe that's a little bit fair. A little bit, okay. A lot fair, she admitted. Emily, we've taken you for granted. We've let Jessica shine while you worked in the shadows. We've treated you like furniture always there. Barely noticed. And we're sorry. Are you? Or are you sorry because now Jessica's in trouble and I'm not fixing it? Dad flinched. Both, probably. But mostly the first thing. What do you want from me? I asked. Nothing, Mom said. That's the point. We want to stop wanting things from you. We want to start seeing you, appreciating you, treating you like our daughter instead of our safety net. And Jessica? They exchanged a glance. Jessica is facing consequences, Dad said. Real ones. She's had to move back home temporarily. She's had her car repossessed. She's negotiating payment plans with credit card companies. And she's angry, very angry, but also, I think, finally understanding what she did to you. She called me a parasite. She did, Mom said quietly. And that was unforgivable. But Emily, she called this morning, asked us to give you a message. What message? That she's sorry. That she understands if you never forgive her. But that she's going to pay you back. Every cent. Even if it takes 10 years. I don't want her money. She knows. She wants to pay you back anyway. For her, not for you. Because she needs to fix what she broke. I was quiet. We're not asking you to forgive her, Dad said. We're not asking you to help her. We're just asking you to keep the door open. Not for her sake. For yours. Because cutting off family entirely, it's a hard thing to carry. Harder than carrying $58,000 in someone else's debt? Different kind of hard, he acknowledged. I left my parents' house with no promises made, no reconciliation. Just a small shift in understanding. Over the next few weeks, things slowly changed. Mom started texting me just to ask how I was not to ask for favors. Dad sent me an article about data analysis trends, with a note. Thought you might find this interesting. Proud of your career. Rachel and I started having weekly coffee dates, and Lyndon and I talked every few days. And Jessica ... Jessica went quiet for 3 weeks. Then, on a random Tuesday, I got an envelope in the mail. Inside was a check for $500 and a letter. This is the first payment. I'll send one every month. It's all I can afford right now. I'm on a payment plan with the credit card companies. I had to sell most of my designer stuff, and I'm working a second job on weekends. I know $500 doesn't make up for $58,000. I know it'll take me years to pay you back. But I need to do this. I need to prove to myself and to youth that I can be responsible, that I can be the kind of sister you deserved all along. I'm in therapy now, talking about why I spent so much money, why I felt entitled to your help, why I called you a parasite when you were the only thing keeping me afloat. Turns out I have some issues with self-worth and external validation. Who knew? Okay, probably you knew. You were always the perceptive one. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't expect us to be close again. But I want you to know, I see you now. I see what you did. I see who you are. And I'm sorry it took losing everything for me to open my eyes. Love, even if you don't love me back. Just PS Mom showed me what you make. Holy shit. You're killing it. I'm proud of you. I should have said that years ago. I stared at the check and the letter for a long time. Then I did something that surprised even me. I didn't cash the check. Instead, I put it in an envelope with a note. Jess, keep the $500. Put it toward your debt. I don't need your money. I never did. What I needed was respect. Recognition. To be seen as a person, not a resource. I'm not ready to be close again. Maybe someday, maybe never. But I appreciate the apology, and I appreciate that you're trying to change. That's enough for now. MPs. Thanks for the compliment about my career. It means more than you know. I mailed it the next day. 6 months later, I was at a coffee shop working on my laptop when someone sat down across from me. Jessica. She looked different. Thinner, tired. Her hair was in a simple ponytail, no expensive blowout. She wore jeans and a sweater that looked like it came from Target, not Nordstrom. Hi, she said quietly. Hi, can I sit? Or should I go? You're already sitting. Fair point. She fidgeted with her coffee cup. I've been sending checks every month. You keep sending them back. I don't want your money, Jess. I know, but I need to send them anyway, so I've been putting the money in a savings account. In your name, when I've paid back the full $58,000, I'll give you access to the account. You can take it or donate it or burn it. I don't care, but I need to do this. I studied her face. She looked genuine. Scared, but genuine. Okay, I said. Okay, if it helps you, okay. I won't fight you on it. Okay, she nodded, relief flooding her features. Thank you. We sat in silence for a moment. I'm on payment plans for all the credit cards, she said. Making minimum payments plus a little extra. I'll be debt-free in 7 years if I don't miss any payments. That's good. I sold my car, bought a used Honda. $6,000. Paid in full. First thing I've ever owned outright. I'm proud of you. Her eyes got shiny. Really, really, it takes guts to fix your life. It takes guts to blow it up at Thanksgiving dinner in front of the whole family, she said with a slight smile. That was the most badass thing I've ever seen you do. Despite myself, I smiled back. It felt pretty good. I bet. She paused. I don't expect us to be sisters again. Not like we were. But maybe, coffee, sometimes. Updates on our lives. Small steps. I thought about it. About Aunt Linda's advice. About Rachel's support. About my parents, slowly learning to see me. About the fact that holding grudges was heavy, but so was holding boundaries. And maybe there was a middle ground. Small steps. I agreed. But Jess, if you ever call me a parasite again, I will personally cancel my own credit cards, she finished. I know. Boundaries. Respect. Seeing you as a person. I'm learning. Good. She stood up. I'll let you get back to work. But thank you. For everything. For helping me when I was drowning. And for stopping when I needed to learn to swim. She left before I could respond. I sat alone in the coffee shop. My laptop opened. My life. Finally, my own. And for the first time in years, I felt like myself. Not the helper. Not the giver. Not the invisible supporter. Just Emily. The data analyst who made 6 figures. The woman who baked incredible pies. The person who finally learned that sometimes the kindest thing you can do is let people face their own consequences. My phone buzzed. A text from Rachel. Rachel, how'd the coffee with Jess go? I smiled and typed back, small steps. But maybe that's enough. Rachel, proud of you? Dinner, this weekend? Yes. My treat. Rachel, you always say that. Because I can afford it, and because I want to. Rachel, fair enough. See you, Saturday. I closed my laptop and looked out the window at the city moving past. Somewhere out there, Jessica was working her second job, making payments, learning to be responsible. Somewhere, my parents were learning to see both their daughters clearly. Somewhere, Aunt Linda was living her best life in Seattle, boundaries intact. And here, in this coffee shop, I was living mine, finally visible. Finally valued, finally free.